Hello everyone, welcome to the Green Man once again for episode number 2 of my favourite Shoegaze and Dreampop albums. In this episode I'm going to talk about Still Corners with their album Strange Pleasures from 2013, which was released on Sub Pop Records. And Still Corners are a duo of Tessa Murray on the vocals and Greg Hughes as a multi-instrumentalist, and he also does, I believe, some production work as well with Still Corners. Still Corners actually met by chance, I believe, at a train station, or so I'm led to believe by what I've researched. Interestingly, I think they obviously work together extremely well, this pairing. Music is just beautiful. Tessa's vocals, particularly in this album, which I'm about to talk about, always seem to float beautifully above the music that and the instrumentation that Greg is doing. Whether it's a sort of more stripped back guitar-based track, or if it's more heavy on the electronic side and a bit more dancey, a bit more upbeat, I always think that there is a beautiful mix in their work and in their albums. Strange Pleasures exemplifies this, as well as, if not, this is perhaps my favourite Still Corners album from this group. And this Strange Pleasures is their sophomore release. It was their second album that came out in 2013. I listened to it actually a couple of years later, I believe, and really got hooked on this. There were a few songs in particular that I was really quite addicted to. It's such a nice, evokes a really dreamy feel, certainly has that dream pop vibe. It's not like a lot of shoegaze albums, which can often be lo-fi and fuzzy. This album is a lovely clean mix, and I think it's some of the best dream pop I've heard perhaps ever, and certainly in the last 10 years. Working through this album on a kind of track by track breakdown, The Trip, the opening one, is certainly really, I think it's quite a popular track on YouTube. I've seen it get a lot of views on YouTube, and it is a really sort of, evokes the feeling of having your windows down, driving a car on an American highway kind of a song. Certainly suits that vibe, and the title of the song, The Trip, also serves that purpose as well. And it has, this is certainly one of the more guitar based tracks with beautifully gently placed guitar notes throughout this song, and Tessa's vocals come in after those early guitar rhythms. And as I say, this is a really well arranged piece of music, eases you into this album really well. Before we get on to some of the other songs, which are like more electronic, like Beginning to Blue, I Can't Sleep Again, it is like electronic, slightly more slower tempo though, that one, it's a very slow paced one. And then you move on to, I think, a sort of 2 or 3 more upbeat Still Corners tracks, where they make more use of the electronics and the synth. Like All I Know, Fireflies has a great chorus in it, I think, Berlin Lovers as well. And they go for a slightly more kind of almost 80s pop sort of vibe in this as this album progresses. But then you get to one of my all-time favourite songs, perhaps actually, because, and I say that, it sounds like an exaggeration, doesn't it? But going back to Strangers, the song I'm talking about here, and I heard that song, for the first time, it must have been 2015, 2016, and it was kind of addictive. It was so haunting. These are kind of gently progressing, gentle guitar notes, and I often think Still Corners seem to really be at their most powerful on those really mellow, stripped back tracks, where Tessa's voice is kind of doing all this kind of lovely melodic movements, as I say, kind of wistfully floating above the instrumentation. And the instrumentation here is kind of gentle, it's brooding. It's a really haunting melody that they've got going on in this song, and it is one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard. And I think that's evidenced by the number of plays it had on my iTunes library that year, probably close to 200. And I usually like to savour songs like this, but obviously I just got completely addicted to this song, and resonates with me, strikes a chord. If you don't know Strange Pleasures, you don't know Still Corners, this might be a song you want to check out, because it is really beautiful, evocative, as I say, emotional. It may make you feel a bit nostalgic, all about the kind of going back to Strange in the chorus, but it's it's a wonderful song, one of my favourites for sure, certainly from the dream pop kind of genre, I think. Beat City is again one of these more upbeat electronic tracks. Midnight Drive is a really cool one. A wonderful rhythm in this one, and then you get that awesome lead guitar section which comes in at different parts of this song, which I really enjoy as well. And We Kill the Moonlight, Strange Pleasures, also pretty cool tracks, and I just think this album as a whole feels like an excellent, really accomplished piece of work, and a great alternative album to listen to. I don't like to use the term chill out too much because it gets used so much, but this really is genuine chill out. It's kind of lying on the beach kind of music with the waves rolling in nice and gently. It's a great album. So that's my second episode of Shoegaze and Dreampop albums, the ones I really do enjoy. There will be more to come. Not decided yet on episode 3. However, if you are passing by the channel, feel free to comment on what you think of this album. Do you have any recommendations for your own of styles this styles of this band that are similar? As always, I say feel free to drop a like and subscribe and all that business. Otherwise, take care, everybody. Have great evenings.